Hello and welcome to the talkSPORT Goals preview show brought to you by William Hill's Final One Standing. It's 18+. GambleAware.org. I'm Sam Ellard, and joining me to look ahead to all the action this weekend is Lee Phelps from William Hill. Hey Lee, how are you?
Yeah, really good. The end of this football season is crazy. I'm still getting over last Sunday in the Gold Studio. It was the craziest show we've done this season, I think.
Yeah, a little bit crazy. And then the William Hill Scottish Premiership said, hey, hang on a minute, I'm going to top that in the coming days. Lee, let's go into the weekend. It's slightly different looking this weekend, where we have Saturday in terms of English football, just one game, and that is Man City-Chelsea in the FA Cup final. Man City, the first team to play in 4 consecutive FA Cup finals since losing the 2021 Champions League final to Chelsea. City haven't lost any of their last 13 games against the Blues in all competitions, their longest unbeaten run against them. Lee, City-Chelsea, FA Cup final.
Yeah, it's hard to make a case for Chelsea here, isn't it, really, given the stat you've just said. Poor record at Wembley. You look at, they're often at Wembley themselves, Chelsea, obviously. I think this is City's 34th Wembley appearance in 16 seasons, which seems unbelievable. Like, doesn't even seem that that's possible. But you look at Chelsea, obviously lost in the League Cup final to Liverpool in 24, lost in the FA Cup final on pens to Liverpool in 22, Liverpool in the League Cup in 22, lost to Leicester in the FA Cup in 2021 as well, lost to Arsenal in 2020. They've not had a good run at Wembley. I just don't see how it changes, to be honest with you. I mean, City are 8-11. This is to win in 90 minutes, of course, and you've got extra time and penalties. 14-5 the draws, just under 3-1. And Chelsea over 3-1, 10-3, 100-30 to win in 90 minutes. But City have got goals all over the pitch. Chelsea struggling to score more than one goal in a game. Take Port Vale out of the equation when they scored 7. The last game they scored more than one goal in was March the 11th. I think City win this. I think you could go City to win and over 2.5 goals. I think it's primed for a bet builder. Obviously, we'll have an epic boost on the FA Cup final as well, so make sure you check that out. I think City to win. And then if you're looking at a bet builder, you want to be going on shots on target, goals. I just think, Chelsea may get a goal, but City all day long for me here, and they do the cup double.
Yep, I echo that thoughts. This Chelsea team are all over the place, aren't they, Lee, at the moment over the last couple of weeks. And I think it's hard to see Man City not winning the FA Cup. So that's Saturday, 3 o'clock. We also have to touch on another essentially a cup final that's happening, or a league final, if you like, that's happening on Saturday at 12:30 in the William Hill Scottish Premiership. Celtic Hearts, it's second v first. Hearts are a point above Celtic, and it's set up for a thrilling final day. All after, Lee, some Wednesday night drama when Celtic were given, I think it's fair to say, a controversial penalty in the final seconds against Motherwell to pick up the victory, to have it just a point behind Hearts. Controversy on Wednesday night, but it does mean on Saturday, Celtic Hearts, a shootout to see who wins the William Hill Scottish Premiership.
Unbelievable. I mean, obviously, we're following it all the way through. My colleagues were up at the games. And just, remarkable, really. At that one point when Hearts were winning, Celtic were losing. I think Hearts were 1-9 to win the title, last night as we record this. And even at 2-2, Celtic finishing 2-2, that means Hearts could have afforded to be beaten 2-0 on that final game at Celtic Park and still lift the title. But as it is, controversy reigns, doesn't it, over the decision, as it did last weekend in the Arsenal West Ham game. Hearts can draw or win, and they win the first non-Old Firm title since 1985. Their first since 1960. Look, they've played well, haven't they? They deserve to be where they are. They've been, top of that table since September. I think I watched the interview with Derek McInnes afterwards, and he was upset about the penalty being given, but the way he spoke was like, we've got to do this. This is what we've got to get this done. It's a bit like, I always use boxing analogies. Like, if you're going to go and, win the title, in the champion's backyard, you've got to rip it off the waist, basically. And that's what Hearts are going to have to go and do. I mean, I know they can get a draw, but I think they can't go into this with the mentality that a draw would do. They're nearly 4-1 to win this game. 3-1 the draw, Celtic 4-7. Effectively, you can back Celtic to win the title at 4-6, so 4-7 as well, and Hearts are 13-10 to win the title. Effectively, you're backing Hearts and the draw there. So if you're not involved in this William Hill Premiership title race from a betting perspective, I'm not sure there's an awful lot of value in those prices. But if you fancy Hearts, then why not go 13-10 for them to win or draw the match and lift the William Hill Premiership? We're fascinated. We're all there over the weekend. I'm with you guys. All our colleagues are there. Our CEO's there. It's going to be an unbelievable day with the trophy ready to be presented. Yeah, unbelievable numbers, and from a personal kind of William Hill point of view, it's an unbelievable way to finish. Probably one of the most historic title races and seasons in Scottish football history.
Yeah, Lee, it's remarkable. I mean, I did a podcast last week with Charlie Adaman. We were talking about, not just what it's done for people in Scotland, Lee, but, people in England, everyone's been talking about it even before the drama last night. It really has grabbed the attention of everyone. I mean, those numbers you said there, Lee, 1985, the last time a non-Celtic or Rangers team won it. 1960, the last time Hearts won it. I mean, Saturday is it's set up to be a belter, isn't it?
Huge. Yeah, absolutely huge. And you're looking at some of the numbers that we see from the viewing figures from south of the border, if you like, from England for the Old Firm. Always a big game, but across the board, and, friends of mine, kind of that measure of how many people are WhatsApping you. Everyone's messaging me this morning about, you see the penalty line. So it's like suddenly it really has gripped hold. And look, Hearts fans will know. And Derek McInnes said this as well in his interview. He said, I know we don't want it to pan out like this, but we know that this is probably, for the league and for everything else, this is probably the best thing that could have happened. So, Look, and if Hearts go to Celtic and win it there, then wow, it just tops off an incredible season for Hearts.
We'll be doing a watch-along, Lee, on Saturday afternoon on the talkSPORT YouTube channel for the FA Cup final and also that Celtic Hearts game. To the Premier League then, and the first Premier League game is Friday night, Villa-Liverpool. That's 5th v 4th, both teams on 59 and a 4 ahead of 6th place Bournemouth. So work still to be done to guarantee top 5 football. From October to the end of January, Villa won more games than any other Premier League side, no side winning more points. But since the start of February, only 4 sides have won fewer points than Villa. And we know, Lee, that Liverpool haven't been at their best throughout the whole of the season. I think this game has draw written all over it.
Yeah, I can see why you think that. Villa are just under 2-1. The draw 13-5, somewhere between 2-1 and 3-1. And Liverpool 5-4. Can't find anything in Liverpool's recent performances to make me want to go and back them there. A win does book Champions League football for both, but it'd be a big surprise if they miss out, I guess. Although Villa do have to be a little careful. The form is kind of just is evaporated in the league recently. I do like goals in the game. 5 of Aston Villa's last 7 games have produced 3 or more goals in the match. Both teams to score landed in the last 5 home games. 8 of Liverpool's last 9 Premier League matches have seen both teams to score. And Liverpool do score goals at Villa Park as well. So, yeah, I think I'd be looking at goals here. Drawing both teams to scores, like you say, it's an obvious way in. But if you're looking at a bet builder, maybe just sticking over 2.5, both teams to score and pick a couple of shots on target. I do think Ollie Watkins is coming back into form at just the right time. Obviously, look at team news. So you might want to put him in there. But, just goals. Let's hope for lots of goals on a Friday night.
Yeah, a good way to start the weekend. So no Premier League games Saturday because of the FA Cup, but Sunday in the Premier League looks like a Saturday. So on Sunday at 12:30, Man United versus Nottingham Forest. Man United will be playing in the Champions League next season, and Forest, Lee, will be playing in the Premier League next season.
Great season in the end. I mean, a tumultuous season for both. I'm not sure whose has been more, but crazy seasons. 8-13 Man United at home, 16-5 the draw, so just over 3-1, just under 4-1 for Forest away. 1 league defeat at Old Trafford since November for Manchester United. That was to Leeds, remember. I fancy them to win this, but I can give Forest a goal here. So I think I'd be looking at Man United to win and both teams to score. It'd probably be a way in for a lot of these. There's quite a few home teams who are slight odds on. So it might be a way into a lot of these games. That's 2-1 for Man United to win and both teams to score. Again, if you're looking at bet builders or you're looking at your epic boosts, then have a look for Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, going for that. The Player of the Year trophy. He's already won the Football Writers Player of the Year. Assists galore this season. And if Morgan Gibbs-White does take to the pitch, then always look at him in terms of shots on target. Man United, too many goals in them, I think, for this Forest team at the moment.
Lee, we then move to Sunday, 3 o'clock. Brentford Palace, Everton Sunderland, Leeds Brighton, Wolves Fulham. Now, Brighton 7th, Brentford 8th, Everton 10th, and directly below them it's Fulham and Sunderland. So 5 points separating these teams, they are all fighting for European football next season. And we know, as I like to say, sixth place could be Champions League football if Villa do finish fifth and win the Europa League, which is a distinct possibility. So again, 4 games late, not for the title, not for relegation, but so many of these teams are fighting for European football of some sorts next season. Are there any prices that jump out? You mentioned lots of home teams. Might be yours on favourite here, Lee.
Well, just in terms of the betting for that 6th spot, really, Bournemouth are the favourites, odds on 8-13. Probably fair enough because they've been the best team of those recently, haven't they? Brighton are next in the betting at 11-8. Then Brentford, big jump to 16-1. But I think Brentford's form has been a bit iffy recently. But if they hit a bit of form in the last couple of games, 16-1 might look big. You need a lot to go for you though. Then Chelsea are 33-1, Everton 66-1. I think Palace are a tricky one. I mean, Palace look like they have got at least one eye on the Europa Conference final. It was funny seeing Pep going around having a chat with the players afterwards, wasn't it? Was he like wishing them luck for the final, or was he just telling them what they need to do against Arsenal?
Yeah, I think he was saying make sure you win the Conference League final, but also make sure you play so much better against Arsenal than what you did this evening. Because I mean, that for City against Palace was basically, it felt like a training session, didn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Loads of final one standing players have gone for Brentford. Mentioned last week that there are still a few pots open with just under £300,000 left to win. Loads have gone for Brentford this week. Loads went for Brighton last week and got through. We had one winner who picked up 20k last week by picking Brighton, and then the others went Villa, remember. So Brentford are home for Palace. I do expect them to win. They've lost 3 straight away games, Palace, conceding 3 on each occasion. To be fair, that was at City, at Bournemouth, at Liverpool. Not sure Brentford are quite up to that level, but we know Brentford have got firepower in Igor Thiago and others. So I think Brentford will get the job done. Again, it's 3 that they're odds on. This is one of those matches I was talking about. 8-11 they are to win the game. So again, if you want to go match result on both teams to score like the Man United one, it just ticks you over the 2-1 mark. And although Palace haven't scored many goals recently on the road, they are capable, obviously, of getting a goal. So yeah, Brentford to win, both teams to score.
Yeah, and Lee, I'm just interested in the Leeds Brighton match odds. I mean, possibly Brighton. I really like this Brighton team. I think they're going really, really well, aren't they? Wolves Fulham. I don't know. Like, will people, think it's obvious to put the team that Wolves are playing in Aka, but are Fulham maybe a little bit too short to back given their inconsistencies as well? Their
odds on 17-20. But the Wolves have one last hurrah, in front of the fans. It's tough to back Fulham at 17-20, but they should go there and win. I fancy the score draw in that one. Leeds-Brighton. Leeds just don't give up, do they? I mean, I was like absolutely adamant. One of my strongest picks of the season was Leeds to draw at Tottenham. Look, Leeds in front of the home fans are going to be bang up for this. Brighton are in good form. When you look at their away form, they've lost 3, won 3, drawn 1 of the last 7. They won at Brentford, won at Burnley, won at Sunderland, got a point at Spurs, lost at Newcastle, Villa and Fulham. So where do Leeds rank in front of around those sides? Could be another score draw. I always say every week, but look at the cards. If it is feisty, it's in front of that great Elland Road crowd. Brighton are right up there in the top 3 yellow cards this season. So have a look at Brighton to have most cards. But I think draw there. I think Everton beat Sunderland. I think Sunderland, we said a few weeks ago that Barry Glendenning told us that they had the flip-flops on. We poo-pooed that idea.
Barry Glendenning exclusive that keeps getting mentioned in every show.
So Everton to win 5-6. I'll probably just go for them to win. I'm not even sure if Sunderland would score a goal in that game.
Nice. Maybe a nice little whacker there on Sunday. Yeah. Brentford, Everton, Brighton.
I think there's plenty to get. Maybe wait and see what the team news is like. But I think there's definitely some good matches for an Aka boost. You need 4 picks or more. But like you say, they're odds on, but they're only a touch of odds on. So you'll get a decent price for putting 4 or 5 teams in an Aka.
Lee, good stuff. The City talkSPORT Goals preview show. This is the talkSPORT Goals preview show brought to you by William Hill's Final One Standing. It's 18+. Gamble away the dog. Sam Ellard and Lee Phelps taking you through a busy weekend of football in the Premier League and in Scotland. Lee, let's move to Newcastle, West Ham, Sunday, 5:30. 2 games to go. West Ham 18th. They're 2 behind Spurs and with a worse goal difference. West Ham have lost 3-0 against Brentford and 1-0 against Arsenal in their last 2 Premier League games, and they failed to score in each of their last 3 away league games. Lee, it's now just must-win time, isn't it, for the Hammers?
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, you got to feel for them, haven't you? I mean, they were unlucky game before last. Obviously, they were really unlucky against Arsenal. I thought they played really well against Arsenal. They're a very, very good team, of course. You know, one of the best teams in the world. You know, could be crowned Champions League winners. And West Ham gave them a really good game after the first 20 minutes. Newcastle are 21-20, so a touch of odds against. The draw's 13-5, and West Ham are over 2-1. Problem we've got here is that West Ham haven't scored on the road since winning 1-0 at Fulham. So can West Ham score 2 goals in this match and stop Newcastle scoring? I'm not sure they can. You know, Newcastle haven't been great this season, obviously, but they've only failed to score at home in the league once. And only Arsenal, Man City and Man United have scored more goals than Newcastle at home. So win, lose or draw, they score. Can West Ham outscore Newcastle, Sam? I don't think they can. So I think the best I can give them is a draw here.
I agree. I think they just lost a tiny bit in momentum. And I don't think, I think best case scenario for West Ham is they get a draw in Newcastle. I agree with you. I know Newcastle aren't in great form at the moment, but I struggle at the moment to see. And also, I just wonder what that Sunday, that drama of that goal being scored, the hide to it being cancelled, and I wonder what psychologically, Lee, that could do to them. But I agree with you. I don't fancy West Ham to go to Newcastle, and yeah, I think draw best case scenario for them. In terms of relegation prices, Lee,
if they do win though, I mean, if they do win that game, Sam, that blows it absolutely wide. Anything can happen in the Premier League, can't it? So you know, in terms of the odds, they are, you know, 1-4 to go down. Tottenham 11-4, so they are, you know, it's short, isn't it? You're not backing them at 4-1 on to go down now. But there's been so many twists and turns, and I'm not as confident in Tottenham as a lot of people seem to have been after 1 or 2 favourable results against pretty poor teams in Wolves and Aston Villa team who just looked like they chucked the towel in. It's going to go down to the wire. Absolutely.
Let's jump
Let's jump
to the Tuesday night then, because Spurs are playing Chelsea, which is not happening this weekend because Chelsea in the FA Cup. And Lee, Chelsea Spurs, Tuesday, 8 o'clock. I mean, the feel of this game, and I think the intensity is very much going to depend on what happens in Newcastle West Ham. If West Ham can go to Newcastle and win and go above Spurs, that game on Tuesday night is going to be absolutely massive. And Chelsea as well, by the way. Forget about what happens on Saturday. Forget about their recent form. If Spurs go into that game in the bottom 3 and Chelsea have the opportunity to, you know, put a massive dent in Spurs' relegation possibility, that game for Chelsea will feel like a cup final. Now, I'm not saying it won't feel like that if West Ham draw or lose to Newcastle, but I just think if West Ham do draw or lose to Newcastle, I think maybe that game will lose a little bit of its edge. Is that fairly?
Yeah. Do you think the FA Cup final has any bearing on it? I mean, I'm not sure it does necessarily. I mean, maybe Chelsea will be a little bit jaded. I mean, if they win the FA Cup final, maybe they'll have been celebrating. I don't know. Maybe. So there's a lot to go on before this game kicks off. So from a betting point of view, when you're previewing it on a Thursday, it's not the easiest. But I just think, look, we know what the vitriol is like between these two clubs. I'm not sure if the players always understand, but the fans, you know, I've listened to enough Chelsea fans on talkSPORT over the last week to know that they want Tottenham down, don't they? So I think if it was down to the fans, if the fans were playing each other, the fans would be well up for, putting the boot into Tottenham here. Look, they're better away from home than they are at home, Tottenham, aren't they? So they do seem to perform better. But all things being equal here, Chelsea obviously should win this match, shouldn't they? I know Chelsea have been in poor form, but, you know, they're still, pound for pound, a much better team. Look where they are in the league table. They're odds against to win this. Odds against to beat a Tottenham team who are fighting for their lives. Tottenham are just about 2-1, just over 2-1. The draw 13-5. I find it hard to back Tottenham. I've not really seen anything.
I find it hard to back Tottenham, Lee, but I find it hard to back Chelsea as well. So I just go for the draw here again. I find it hard to back either of these two teams, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I can see. Look, they are scoring. Tottenham are managing to score goals, aren't they? So again, if you're looking at a bet builder on this one or the Epic Boost, then I can see Tottenham getting a goal in the match, but I can't see them winning. If they win, absolutely fair. And if they go to Chelsea and win, then they fully deserve to stay in the
Yeah.
Premier League for another season. For me, I think it all goes down to the final day. I think West Ham draw, I think Tottenham draw, and I think it comes down to that final day of the Premier League on the is it Sunday the 24th?
Yeah, that would be fun, wouldn't it? In terms of the title race then, Lee, for this weekend, Arsenal are playing Monday night home to Burnley. Man City play the night after that, don't they, on the Tuesday night? Because again, like Chelsea, obviously in the FA Cups, their game gets moved to the Tuesday. So both teams have played 56. Arsenal have 79. City have 77. Is there a possibility, Lee? I mean, this is a definite possibility that Arsenal beat Burnley, sure, move on to 82, and that possibly 24 hours later, Arsenal win the league because City lose to a Bournemouth team who are currently on a 16-match unbeaten run in the Premier League. That streak goes back to their last league defeat on the 3rd of January. I mean, Arsenal, I'm sure the Arsenal players will be gathered somewhere in a nice private hotel room just in case, because I think that could genuinely happen. This was the game I thought was going to be the hardest for City.
Yeah, and you kind of straight off the back of the FA Cup final, whatever happens in that, I think for the title race, probably in a weird way, losing it might be better for them to get back into it. But who knows what happens? I mean, like you say, Bournemouth have been brilliant this season, haven't they? Look, they're not as good as City, are they? We know that. But like you said, there's every possibility that they trip City up there. They're just over 3-1 to win that game. Bournemouth, by the way. The draw's 3-1.
Lee, can I stop you there? That's surely got to be value bet. I know we're doing this 3 or 4 days out. Bournemouth, with the form that they're in, City being as inconsistent as they are, playing this game 3 days after, possibly winning the FA Cup, surely Bournemouth, the 3-1's got to be value bet of the weekend?
Well, yeah, the only thing I'd say is that City are a bit like kind of a champion boxer who doesn't really get up for the smaller teams, but they do get up for the teams that are a bit of a challenge. So I wonder if maybe they whatever happens in the cup final, they just know they have to win this, so they go for it. But Bournemouth beat City at their place last season 2-1, didn't they? I mean, City have beat them 3 times since then. Once in the FA Cup at Bournemouth and twice at home. But yeah, I mean, I see no reason why Bournemouth couldn't get a result. Winning may be a bit of a stretch. I think maybe the draw is the danger, like they did at Everton City. But look, I think probably, as you say, it'll probably be like it won't really matter in the end, because I just think Arsenal win both their remaining games. I mean, when I did the prep last night, Burnley were 25-1 to win at Arsenal. They've been clipped into 22-1. So Arsenal are 10-1 on to win this game. It's hard to see how they get themselves in a mess. All Burnley can do is go there and shut up shop, surely, and just try and get a draw. And they won't be able to do that. I don't see how they would. There's no way that Burnley get a result at Arsenal. And then I think whatever you said, whatever Pep said to the Palace players, they've got, like I said, they've got at least one eye, maybe 1.5 eyes, maybe both eyes on the Conference League.
I would say,
so
if you've got a European final on a Wednesday and an irrelevant Premier League game 4 days before, I don't know why on earth anybody that's playing on Wednesday would even be at Selhurst Park. Keep them in an ice bath at home. Yeah. It would be, as Oliver Glasner said, he doesn't get paid his wages by City or Arsenal. He's got to look after himself. So I don't know why he would risk anyone on that game against Arsenal.
There was an interesting point made. I was listening to talkSPORT on the match last night, and there was an interesting point made that when you look back at his previous managerial roles, he's been in a similar situation and he has fielded strong teams, but that's fine. Even if he fields a strong team, Sam, I think no footballer is going out on a pitch to give anything less than 100%. But subconsciously somewhere, you might just be, not quite at your full pelt. Because you like you say, no one's pulling out of tackles, but you might not be going absolutely hell for leather chasing balls down, to stop something going out for a corner or whatever, just because of that little 1% that's got an eye on the final. And if Arsenal are absolutely 100% at it, which they will be, then they're just too good. They're too good on, even if both teams are at 100%, with full strength teams, Arsenal are too good. So I think the title race is done. Arsenal are 1-5 to win it at the minute. It would have to be a real cataclysmic collapse against Burnley to let Man City back in here. Not sure it happens.
Cataclysmic. On that note, Lee, that was way too long for me, so we'll end the show right here. Lee, thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you Saturday, mate, for a massive, massive afternoon.
Can't wait for it.
This has been the talkSPORT Goals preview show. Make sure you do join us on Saturday lunchtime on the talkSPORT YouTube channel and on your smart TVs. We've got the final of the William Hill Scottish Premiership, that massive game Celtic Hearts, and the FA Cup final as well. We'll see you Saturday afternoon.